That
we're here.
That kind of sounds like the fire trucks coming in over here.
Look at the boobs I have in the camera.
Nice tits, bro.
Boobs. What happened?
You haven't heard that since you was in California. Yeah. You might need a up a size or something. or down a cup size, one of the two.
We should have come on camera and checked this out.
Yeah. Fucking sports bra. Well, it's not cold.
I'm like, who's that big chested chick sitting there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah. Nice tits.
All right, we're gonna cover them up. There we go.
Yeah.
So anyway, here we are. Hope y'all can hear. Oh, let's switch over to comments so we can see what we got going on here. And
what's up? You should make a new video. Well, which kind of video there, Harlan?
A new intro video?
New intro video or no?
New cartoons.
New cartoons?
Or
OnlyFans?
Just
what? You let us know.
It must not be me because I put a couple new ones on YouTube today. They weren't edited. They didn't have that much time in them. They were just the main event and the cautions of the main event.
Well, we've
two separate.
We've
videos.
been a little busy.
Yeah, we've been pretty.
Yeah.
Monday was a shit show for me, and
today's not Monday.
No.
Oh yeah, it is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday.
That's why we're on here.
Yeah. Yesterday, I was real close to having a meltdown.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying.
My table went down every time. It started with a bad ground, but when I opened the control box, every time I touched one wire, two more broke or come loose or something. I was like,
well,
it was infuriating.
Sounds like my race car. Trying some new beers here tonight. So garage beers. I don't know. I tagged them in a post earlier, a picture of it. I just thought it looked cool.
Yeah,
but they're really not bad.
It's got kind of a generic look, but kind of cool too. Well, it could say beer on there just as.
Yeah, I like the old off-white color.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the Yellow Belly Coors.
Our live audience is talking to us.
Yeah, the live audience here. The old top cans, which is like the old Lone Stars. I mean, I'm digging them.
Heck yeah.
I'll drink them. It was like $16 for a 12-pack at the gas station. So I hadn't seen them before.
That's the first time I've seen them.
Yeah, I'm a Lone Star guy, but I might partake in these from time to time now too.
Coming up around the 8 o'clock hour here, we're going to have a buddy of mine, Billy Simkins. He's been around racing forever, third generation racer. His daughter's racing; she's fourth generation, and we're just going to get into. He's been doing some fun stuff with ChatGPT, letting it crew chief one of his cars, or all of them. I don't know. He's got several race cars.
Yeah.
And
he's at least trying to get ahead of the curve on some stuff there, I think.
And we'll talk about his family racing, and me and him were talking about dry tracks and stuff, and you just don't see any tacky tracks anymore, and some of the reasons behind that. But we'll leave that all for when he's coming on.
Now let's talk about it all now before we
get it all. Well, I'm just trying to preface, do a little. So you guys hang around for when he gets on.
Yeah. Skinny's
ready to crank it up.
Hell yeah!
So
we wish he was coming this weekend to this 30,000 race.
Yeah,
we're gonna not even eat the whole time.
We didn't give him much time to plan from coming from California.
We didn't give us much time to plan. Are you kidding me?
I barely got entered. We kept talking about it. Finally, Billy's like, "Man, just take the 199 car. I'm going to be selling merch and don't want to get a bunch wrapped up in before I leave to Australia."
Well, I bent the frame on it, so I was like, fuck it. It'll be all right.
He told me I could race it first, and then he goes and bends the frame on it Saturday night. And he's like, "Well, you're going to have to work at it a little bit, but we got it."
That's the only way I could get help fixing it.
Took it to
let somebody else drive it.
Took it to Mazzell Frame Shop.
The old Komatsu frame jig.
Yeah. Chained it to the back on one side and pulled on it with the other.
Did y'all leave it on the trailer when y'all did that?
Yep.
I figured so.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't fucking crank. I know that.
Yeah. We left it on the trailer, and and I had a flat. I checked the straps and stuff, but I'm going to be honest. I maybe didn't check the tires good. I might have left with a flat.
That was the spare, okay? That we put on there Saturday that was flat when I put it on. and it was so dry rotted you could see the air in it. That's how. I mean, it was. It's not a. It wasn't a good tire.
Yeah, I probably should have put.
I was gonna have to get another one anyway.
Okay, well,
I thought I was gonna be the one to blow that one out, but
I did.
you outdid me.
Okay.
You know.
Yep, I got that. But
and it was almost 1 year to the day of when you blew up our Fred Lobster motor too.
Right.
So I don't want to bring that back up. But.
Well, you know, it might. Yeah. And then, but you're still letting me take your car to the 30,000 to win.
Please don't blow it up. I don't have another motor.
Hopefully, it'd be nice to get out of there with enough that I can get a motor for mine.
Yeah. Jesse said we aired it up at the produce stand. Yeah, it's like 1 a.m, and me and Jesse's at a closed down produce stand on the outside of outskirts of Canton, plugging a generator, air compressor into their string lights out front.
And I'm a shithead because my phone goes on sleep mode where nobody can get through except my kids and Stacy, and y'all called me and it obviously didn't come through. And so when I got up and saw the missed calls the next morning, you guys are on my list now. So if you call next time, I have no excuse.
I tried calling on Facebook too, but
it didn't.
It wouldn't even ring though.
Nothing goes.
It wouldn't even ring.
Yeah, nothing goes through on it.
Dead to the world.
But you were running good. You were running second, and I thought you had a good shot to take the lead.
I feel like that's the third feature I should have won there, but didn't win any of them.
So. That was
we know, Lee. I'm obviously not your kid.
Crushed. Well, you know.
Yeah, well.
But next time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I managed to pull off a win.
Yeah, it was a good win too, man. It was a good race.
I was really leery about it because I put a new gear in the car. And it should have given me. I went from a 650 to a 7.0. I thought that really should have done me right.
It looked about the same though.
I just think the gears are way too tight. I started to measure stagger. I jacked up the back end, and I couldn't even turn the wheels on it anymore. So we got down there, and your dad was trying to help, and I was trying to knock the pinion nut back it off just a hair. He said he thought he saw it move. I didn't, but. When I would hit the gas, it felt like nothing. I
didn't think about it because I didn't have much time between then and my race, reaching down there and feeling of it, see how hot it got. But
anyway, we made it. We got by it. So
yeah.
I'm gonna pull it out of there and have your dad go through it and see what we need to do to make that better. Or I heard the motor at the 275, but it's got good. Like once I got it rolling up on top, it would go.
Surely you don't have two problems.
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, I've got a lot of problems, but race car wise.
Yeah. Well, we know your motor's hurt.
Yeah, it's old. Got too many miles on it.
Yeah.
So
your motor can't remember nobody's name.
No, damn sure can't. But yeah, I was real happy to get that done. Had a little problem with lap traffic. Car got some body work to be done.
Yeah. You was going for the lead there, and lap car looped it, and got both y'all. That other old boy, he got the worst of it. Looked like, but
I was real.
Luckily, you're in a car that's 30 years old, and it really didn't matter. But
it's an enduro car, and that's a thing for the enduros too. That just goes to kind of show that like we have some fast cars at those enduros. Yeah. My car's definitely not the fastest car that comes through the enduros either. That's for damn sure.
That's also the second time that whole side's been wiped out, and it was on a weekly show and not the enduro.
Yeah. I've had, other than the time I hit Chris White.
Well,
I've had way more.
That was a track. That had nothing to do with it being an enduro. Yeah. That was when you can't see in front of you.
A vision.
Holy shit!
And me driving. That wasn't anything anybody else did to me. That was my.
Yeah, you weren't the only one that hit somebody sitting still that day.
But yeah, I definitely take on more damage in weekly shows than I've taken on in the enduros. I come out of the 600 with third that first night, and we didn't have to do any body work to it.
Yeah,
I mean, made 200 laps.
I did, but I'm a little rough,
and
I'm a little bit sometimes.
Yeah,
not like hard rough. I'm not wrecking people, but. I'll lean on people.
Yeah, I think one of your dad's mottos is drive hard, take chances, right?
That's what he usually. Yeah, it's usually what he says right before I drive off.
Yeah, so drive hard and take chances, and
all right, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well,
oh, Skinny says he booked his flight for the 600.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm fasting until we get there. Cams and cans Friday night. That's right. We're starting on the cans tonight, but that's our buddy there, Gumboot from Australia.
Oh, okay.
He's getting a car ready for Matt Ryan. I think it's going to be who's going to be driving that one. I think he might know that better than me. I think that's who's going to be driving it, but either Matt or Alan. But he's building him a new car, and they get to drive the old one. He sent me some pictures of it and stuff, and it's looking pretty good. But yeah, he needs to come over here. I've said this before on here, but we got to get Gumboot. We got to get Gumboot to the States, even if his wife's mad at him.
Right? Yeah, it don't matter.
Yeah, it's all right. She'll get over it.
Over here, your wives are always mad.
Yeah. She'll be mad on the other side of the world, so it'll be okay.
Yeah,
she's got time to cool off. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about it actually. Everybody keeps asking about it because over here everybody got to see the Billy Down Under deal in December, January, and so they're thinking I just got back from there, and I'm like, no, I'm fixing to go back again, and yeah, I'm way pumped. It's I think it's like 40 days or less, I guess. I don't know. I leave May 28th when I fly out. So, and I'll land there like on the 30th or however that works. But I'm
be back in time for my birthday, June 27th.
Yeah, right, yeah. I'm flying back on the 18th. So
sweet. What
are we going to do? We're going to go see midget wrestling again?
I don't know. I haven't figured that. We might not do anything, but
yeah,
hang out. I don't know.
Yeah,
I go to the shop and just hang out.
Well, we do that.
Yeah,
we're good at doing that.
That's a good time.
Yeah. All the way from Australia to Canada. Now we got the infield track tire Thursday pit barbecue for the 600.
Well, I'm sure Skinny will be cooking in a barrel.
If we're at the track and we're staying there, we're partying. Yeah. I mean, that's it. We're partying.
Friday night.
That's the night you want to come over.
Yeah, Friday night. There's going to be a shindig.
Yeah,
there's
going to be a little bit of live music in our pits, and
yeah,
and you're Tristan. You're always welcome to come over and get something to eat too. So
yeah, last year when Skinny was there, our friends from Australia that I just met, but they got it figured out. They had Skinny's schedule figured out. They knew when to show up.
You can and
we love that.
It looked like the soup line somewhere. Everybody's standing in line to eat.
But yeah, we definitely have some cool stuff going to go on Friday night after the races.
Yeah,
joint deal between him and I. And
I'm going to play the spoons.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Live music.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get onto this while I'm thinking about it. So at the 30,000 to win, there is a provisional that is a fan favorite provisional.
Yeah.
So we're going to need y'all to be paying attention because I'm driving his car, and I think the voting starts tomorrow, if I understand it right. We'll be sharing it around, but we need help.
We need help
in case I don't get the 199 in. Something happens.
We can get him. We can get him in. We can get the old 199 car. Y'all know the one. It's the rough looking car with duct tape numbers.
It's kind of a sleeper though. It's got a rough body, but it's got some it's a good chassis.
It's not a piece of shit.
No, and it's got a decent motor. And
but
we may be able to put it in there.
$30,000 to win factory stocks this weekend, and when I'll post a link tomorrow. Or I guess it's tomorrow. Whenever I'll post links until we can't.
As soon as we see it, we're going to start sharing.
So make sure you get on there and follow Lee Jensen, and make sure you vote for him.
Yeah. Lee Jensen, 199. I'll be in Billy's car. And
TJ, you slightly missed out on the long viewership award. Unfortunately, I think Australia's already claimed that one. Colton, how much beer we drink? Dude, Colton already sent me a picture of 2 30-packs of Lone Star he had loaded up. He done went to Walmart. I think that was the only thing he got. So I said, give me one. He was like, I got to go back by there tomorrow. I'll get you one. The hell yeah. $20 for a 30-pack. The hell yeah.
Got Ricky Childress Jr. from Rosedale, California.
Well, you're in third on the long drive award there.
Yeah, I tell you, TJ and Ricky might be the same distance apart.
Right.
Actually.
Yeah, I don't know how far is California from
there? What do they say from Dallas to El Paso is further than it is from El Paso to California.
Yeah.
It's something like that. Yeah. There's some measurement like that. But Ricky, we appreciate you checking in.
Always hopping on. We do appreciate that. We like all of our repeat viewers, which I think that's all we've been getting here lately. That's I like that. I like we repeat offenders.
Yeah, we had a big run of new people when we first when you started your cartoons. You got a bunch of new followers, so we had a bunch of new people then.
Yeah, but hope I'm up to it. Hey, now easy.
So today it's on the trailer, and they burned up the starter went out, whatever. So I got to put a starter on it, fire it up, and get it to move. So I'm down under there, and I have my beard hung up on a shard of metal, like it's all tangled and hung up, and I'm trying to get it off, and I get my shirt hung up on another spot that's sticking out. And I'm like, I'm here by myself. I might just be here until somebody gets here.
You get the pocket knife out and cut your beard. As soon as the plane touches down, Billy better be ready. Now has the spanners out and the pig tuned at full send. I am ready. I might actually run to y'all's house when I land. You might not even have to pick me up. I'll just run all the way there. In the left lane, though.
But don't get hit for being on the wrong side of the road or something.
They'll know I'm from out of town.
And I know he's counting down because just being around him, and even as far as not racing this weekend because you're trying to sell merch. And make sure you got your shit together to go over there.
Yeah, gonna have merch there at Boot Hill this weekend, set up by the stands. Trying to raise a little more money to make sure I'm not having to get a job while I'm over there. You know.
I didn't know you need to go there with a job visa.
I'll be over there working for Donna's, like digging a ditch or something, or whatever they got going.
We're going to drink enough to make Jesse hate his life the next day. I told him we're bringing out the Fireball Friday night.
Oh, God. As long as we don't bring out the Crown like they did down in Corpus.
Yeah, we showed up down at Corpus, and you guys were...
Jesse was trying to climb in somebody else's trailer. I said, we don't even have an enclosed trailer. Why would you even think that that's a place to be? It was a good time.
We definitely need you to come out for the 600 at some point.
Definitely. You'd enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't know you that well, really, but you'd enjoy it.
If you can... I'm going to try and get Billy and Sunnie. I'm going to try and get my factory stock together, and I may end up putting an LS in it to go just for the 600 to go there. Because that may be what it does. But I'm going to try and get that for Billy and Sunnie to run this year. And but yeah, we definitely need to get you out here in something.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we got plenty of racing going on out here. Big races too.
Yeah. These I saw Race On had made a series of a bunch of races.
And the points fund's like $25,000 points fund.
Yeah,
and it's just factory stocks racing in the Arklatex area, all within like 2 to 3 hours of us.
It starts with the 30,000 to win, and then there's like 3 days. There's some Triple Crown 3 days in a row. There's one track that didn't come to mind, Boot Hill and an Arklatex, and but I'm sure they're all right.
Then they got the Mike Parker one at 67,
and they had
and I'll have merch at that one. That one's next month and we'll have the Addicted to Dirt guys there helping me sell merch for that.
Hunter Hobson Memorial.
Hunter Hobson Memorial at Hunt
was one of
County.
them. And so,
yeah, I mean,
but it's a bunch of factory stock races,
all big shows.
Yeah, all big shows, and it all adds up to they're going to keep points. And
I think I added it up earlier this year at all the big shows that I knew of, right? And just within like 10 shows, you could potentially win over $100,000.
Yeah. When I moved here,
and that's without even like getting really way out of the way here on our area. You're not going to drive more than 6 hours.
Yeah. When I first moved here, I thought, I'd told people, I'm like, if I ever put a car together, it'll be a factory stock, because I thought it was cool that there's some big races for the factory stocks.
And this year here is really up. We thought 10,000 was a pretty big one, but holy shit, 30,000.
When I first moved here, I think you could go to like at least a 5,000 to win once a month somewhere. And now they're up in that game. COVID hurt a little bit when we went through all that, and then it flattened out. And then I ended up building an enduro car, but I'm trying to get the damn factory stock together. So
looking for sponsors on that. If you're interested in
motor people.
Yeah, we need a drivetrain for that thing mainly. Hey, we can make it happen. We were just talking about that, doing so when I'm over there, it'll be like when we're doing this, it's what, Wednesday noon over there. So if we can get, I'm gonna get Donna's on there sometime between now and then, and we'll see kind of how big of a lag it is. If it's like if it's kind of an issue, because I know on the phone sometimes it lags pretty bad. So we'll do a test run on that, and that way when I'm over there, we can get Gumboot and the boys, whatever, on there, and maybe we can get somebody else on there with me each week or something. And because I'll be there like 18 or 19 days or something, I guess.
Yeah, because we can have. I'll have to read into it more, but there's definitely a couple different ways we can bring people on, and I think we can get you set up to where you just come in or there, and we can even still bring another guest or something in.
We'll get it all figured out, because we definitely want to do that, and I like all you guys over there, and it'd be cool to even when I'm not there, bring y'all on and do some bullshitting.
Yeah.
Guys like Tristan on there all the way from Canada, whoever the hell we want. So we're working on it.
Definitely bring a baby kangaroo with you.
Well, I've had a lot of requests for baby kangaroos, and I don't know if I can make it happen. At Springfield, Missouri, I think he's in like 4th right now on distance. Yeah. One day we was on here, somebody from England.
Yeah.
And hadn't had another England on here since then, but yeah, man, I like it when people tell us where they're from, because it's kind of, we're used to like some of our friends and stuff, but when you get on here and you get people from Missouri, and there's some other guys from Canada and all kinds of places, it's makes it interesting.
It's very cool to because see where everybody comes from.
I mean, I know like my following spans over several countries or over the states pretty well, but it still blows my mind a little bit when people start saying where they're from. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was I've never had as big a following on Facebook as you, but when I did the Dirt 57, like that thing went viral, and people were sending me that it was on Australian pages and stuff like that, and that was cool. It was a lot of fun when that thing went on.
Hell yeah!
Like that.
TJ said, "Have y'all ever been to South Texas?" I've never been down there and didn't leave with a hangover.
Yeah, been there once.
Yeah, I think you remember. We were there for we were there for your wedding. We got somebody from Kansas here, Todd.
Todd Kidwell from Kansas. Thank you.
I believe I've seen Todd do some commenting on some posts before. That name sounds familiar.
We're not in Kansas anymore.
Not in Kansas anymore. I bet they get sick of people saying that shit.
Yeah.
Wednesday just before lunch sounds like a good plan. Hell yeah, I am too. I quit like a year and a half ago just so to make sure I can make it.
Wild Bill Irwin from Oildale, California.
Oildale was Dale Rusty,
suburb of Bakersfield.
These are pretty good.
Jackie Wood, congrats on the win. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Jackie Wood, do they race?
He does. He's
that sounds like a race car driver's name.
He is. He's paraplegic and drives with hand controls.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah.
You know that the 199 used to have that in it.
Yeah.
Before Jared got it. Yeah.
I offered to try and make him a twist grip and a brake thing one time, but like Evan Evans runs an off-road track. He was like, I just like my I know he's had some badass cars and
hell yeah, that's pretty cool. I always like seeing people that get out there and do it.
He's a lot of fun. So Arkansas.
I plan on being in Arkansas in August for I think it's the factory stock, the Frenzy race or something.
Yep.
Peyton Taylor race. I just talked to him yesterday about it. I think that's when it is.
Okay, so we got Chad Weber here. He is part of the Santa Maria Raceway coming back and stuff. But we got Billy down here, and we're gonna go ahead and bring him on. So guys, we're gonna hang off on talking about the comments. Get Billy on board here.
So if you got any comments for Billy, leave them.
Yeah, definitely.
Even if they're real vulgar.
What's up, Billy? Can you hear us?
What's up?
What's up?
Not much, man. So I kind of run through it earlier, but you guys got 4 generations running a lot like Billy here. His granddad ran, and his dad ran some asphalt stuff, a lot like your dad. And then now it's you and Sunnie racing, and so come from a racing family and stuff. So we're gonna have you on here, talk about a few things. And Chad Weber was just commenting, and me and you talked about when I asked you to come on here, I hit on why tracks are not tacky anymore. And maybe we'll just break right into that.
Okay. Yeah. I came from Santa Maria Speedway. That's where I, spent the first half of my racing career. I'd say like 15 years. That track was known for being hooked up from, when you started to when you finished. Probably considered one of the best racing surfaces in California at the time. And but that was a time when everybody was racing on leaf springs. Everybody's on pro shocks all the way around. Everything's a little bit different now. And now I've come to probably prefer a little bit something more smooth and maybe a little bit something that's slicked off, so it's not just follow the leader. And so yeah, I think it's tough because things have changed so much, in technology and on the cars. And then I think the days of prepping tracks like they maybe ran them back in the 70s and 80s and maybe early 90s are a little bit different now.
Yeah, one thing like Doug Fort over there, didn't have any curfews back then, so cars didn't hit the track until the sun went down. That was a big deal. Like I didn't. You were from there. I didn't race there often, but I know when you went over there, nothing touched the racetrack till after the sun went down.
Oh yeah, they had one path to get in with the trailer, and if you there's diagonal path right across the front chute, and if you touch the track in any fashion outside that, man, you got your ass handed to you, dude.
Yeah. So I mean, it just
Devil's Bowl was that way. I've seen them get on people's ass when they would drive out across the track or something.
Yeah, and so there's a lot that goes into that, and just having if you had a race program of mini stocks, American stocks, factory stocks, and pro stocks were your premier division, you might be able to keep things tacky. But when you're running modifieds and pro stocks, late models and stuff like that, that's getting a lot of horsepower to the ground, and all that takes friction. Like all that bite is friction that's making heat on the surface.
Yeah.
And I just think the tacky tracks are a thing of the past now. You just can't do it.
You know, I raced Paris last month, and I consider that the premier racing surface of California. They just every time I've been there, I've never felt a rut in that place in my life. And they had the SCRA sprint cars there, and they brought those cars in, and we were running with them pro stocks. They might have their hobby stock division. They're on a G60. I think we're on like an 8-inch chained tire, and they ran those SCRAs. We couldn't even wheel pack. They let the sprint cars like bring it in, and then they hot lapped, they qualified, they ran their dash, and I think they ran some heats, and then we were allowed to go out and start our hot lap session after the track was like, sealed up. And it was a bitchin' track, dude. It was like, the track was hard packed. And I think even the sprint car guys don't like the super hammer down stuff anymore. I think they like it where they can throw slides across the track and things. So Paris to me has the formula down where they don't let, cheese graters on the track before the big tire stuff gets on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can prefer tacky or slick, but really just give me a smooth track and I'm
Right.
happy, because smooth is raceable.
Oh yeah. No, I
I'm one of those
agree.
guys that like it like a rough track though. I do, because I don't say I like it rough. I'm not gonna say it like that, but I'd say I do like a little bit of a rough track, just because I'm used to, my Tahoe don't have good shocks, and I'm used to driving to something that's catching a little air, I think.
That's why you got to carry a set of pro shocks in your trailer at all time, right?
Yeah.
They had a guy like, so I was watching the Santa Maria race on the last one, right? And they had the pro stocks out there. Most of those cars are on probably like a pretty stiff left rear on the compression, and most of them are 3 links. But there was one guy that looked like he kind of drug his pro stock out of the weeds, right? And he has a leaf spring car, and he probably has a set of pro shocks or something like that on it, And usually, he's probably not too much of a contender, but on this race, he was. I mean, he had a better car than he's probably ever had, because he could just drive through, stuff that nobody else could. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that happened at the Solo 275 last year. It got really rough when we were at Lone Star Speedway, and my car was just a dream. I just drove right through the rough stuff and was driving around everybody on leaf springs and old technology.
Yeah, I was struggling a little bit, but I did knock the radiator pretty much out of the car.
Yeah.
And broke a ball joint. But you lost the damn oil filter.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it wasn't that the oil filter hung down too low. It just like packing a wheel bearing. It just kept packing sand between it and the oil pan until it wedged it away. But
yeah, that was pretty shit.
Yeah,
of a track. That might have been the roughest track I've ever drove on.
So we'll move on. You've done an interesting thing, been very vocal, posted on letting ChatGPT. You call him Chad. You've named him Chad.
I call it Chet. It's Chet.
Chet. Okay, Chet. And I said Chad in a post earlier, but yeah, Chet. And he's your crew chief, and you let him make a lot of decisions on your car. And just let's hear about that a little bit.
Yeah, so if you haven't paid attention, like AI in the last year and a half or so has really made some huge improvements. Like just how it communicates and how it can process information, how it can analyze a video. In fact, today I was working on the stock car, and there's two ball joint sizes that they make. That's like a low resistance, right? They make a smaller one for like a metric, and then they have a bigger, bulkier one that like I might run on my pro stock. And so I just was kind of thinking about beefing this one up on the stock car. And I said, well, maybe I have the big one. And I literally showed it a picture in my hand. It says, no, you don't have the big one. You have the small one. It's crazy that it could look at an image in my hand of a ball joint and say, oh, no, dude, you got the wrong stuff. Like, you know what I mean? So the self-rec, in fact, on the last race, my stock car race over at Bakersfield Speedway at Kern County Raceway, my car was pretty damn good, but God, looked like it was going to roll over. I'm like, damn, dude, am I going to put this thing on the lid? So it asked me, it said, can I see a picture of your car? Just send it to me real quick. So I went on my wife's video and did a screenshot in the corner and gave it to it. And it literally took that photo, goes, okay, yeah, it's rolling over in the middle of the car. So let's do this to it. I want you to do this for the next race. So it looked at that video. It asked me to see a video. It analyzed the video and then started telling me changes that we can do for the next race. I thought that was pretty incredible.
That's crazy. So do you and Chet, do you guys ever argue?
Yeah, so we did. So when I first started the Pro Stock program, I started that at Paris with it, and it said, and it asks you, the thing is how you talk to it from the start is super important. If you tell it to talk to you like Harry from Days of Thunder, it's going to talk to you like Harry would talk to you from Days of Thunder. If you want a motivational coach, it's going to talk to you like that. If you want an asshole for a crew chief, it's going to talk to you like an asshole for a crew chief, right? So I have mine set up in a way that we kind of, not motivational, but it keeps me wanting to keep going, not get discouraged. And when I first started it said, okay, well, I like this class. Let me see your spring package. So I let it know, and then it said, I like everything you have, but I don't like that right front spring. And I said, well, dude, I've tried lighter springs on the right front, but it bottoms out. I don't like the way that feels. And it said, okay, well, what kind of solution can we come up with together where you get what you want and I get what I want? And then we kind of like threw some things back, and it ended up being a thing where I said, well, what about, if we put a deeper dish wheel? And it said, okay, I'll buy that. I like that. That's going to soften that right front up. You can keep your spring, and we'll see how that goes. So we actually came up with a solution to the right front to soften it up without getting rid of my spring that I wanted to keep. And it was pretty damn good, dude. I mean, it was pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah, I saw that video of your car and that you got second, but I mean you had a good run.
No, I got third that night, and but they had watered the track right before a race. It was a 20 lapper, and so the track didn't really come in until like lap 9, and I started dead last 15th, and so like within about 10 laps I made it up to third. So those guys are pretty fast there up front because they have big motors. They're good there, and so but to me I was like, God, this car handles like a dream, dude. It really was a great car, low, high. And I'm not saying it's all because of AI. I mean, I put some work in on it too, but it's not gonna, and this is the misconception, you're not gonna be able to go to AI and say, hey, look, make me a car that can win the world 100. It's not gonna do that because like no crew chief could do that for you, right? It wants information, and the more information that you give it, it's gonna bounce things back and forth like a real crew chief was. And also you've said this to me before, Lee, that you sometimes, Billy, you have great cars and you've dialed yourself out with your changes that you like doing. And this program is actually really good. It says, look, don't do anything else till you go out there and run your heat race. Let's not change anything. Then come back, talk to me about what we have, and then we'll make the next step. But let's not do too many changes right now,
Yeah.
And so, for that, it's pretty amazing the way it communicates.
We've been friends a long time, and that's something that I've preached to you for a long time. I don't make many changes, and you make a lot of changes sometimes. But
I hate making changes.
So another thing that we've talked about is you uploaded the manual for your chassis and stuff that came with your stock car, right?
Yep.
And it thought that was cool and a big help.
Yeah, it said this is really going to save us some time. It's like we'll try to use some of their this for the stock car stuff. Now, our pro stock don't have that, of course, but the stock car stuff. So this is really going to help us out. We may venture off of it a little bit, and we have a little bit, but it says this is going to help us save a lot of time. And one thing I really like, I pay for the $20 a month because it's just so valuable, not just in my racing, but in like my health, my other stuff I have going on. But
it gives you more information, I think.
Yeah, because it learns it knows how I drive. Like I let it know, look, I don't throw the cars in sideways. I drive them in kind of straight. I like the car that's underneath me. I don't like, hung out. And that's not every driver, right? So it's taking all that stuff in consideration. And I can say, hey, look, what did we run back at Paris back in like April 2nd? Can you let me know where we were on that? And it's going to have all that data that we had back then. You know what I mean? So that just keeping that logbook alone is like pretty valuable.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
What I've noticed too on it, it's not like you were saying earlier. It's not going to set you up to win, but it'll give you a different perspective on some stuff. You're like, hell, that didn't even cross my mind. Might be something simple, just like if you were bouncing an idea off somebody else, and that's with nearly anything on it. I was like, I'll ask that thing all kinds of weird shit, and then it'll tell me some stuff. I'm like, well, that's the simplest solution, and I can't even believe I didn't think of it.
Right. One of the things that it really started teaching me more about was stagger. I've always been someone that came to a track, especially like I go to Paris, right? It's a hooked up racetrack. I know it's going to be pretty hooked up all night, and I'll go there with a lot of stagger. And it just said, dude, get that stagger out of your car. Let's figure a way to get that thing to turn without putting a bunch of stagger in it, and you'll be way faster on straightaways, And so like there's a lot of like technology that it scrapes from the internet, over the last 20 years, whether it's chassis manufacturers or forum boards and all this stuff that you get in a nanosecond, dude, when you're talking to it, and it communicates it in a way that you can understand. It's just amazing technology,
Better than Google.
Oh, dude.
And
Big time.
one thing that I mentioned to this when we were on the phone a week ago or so, but like your GoPro can keep a lot of data, and so I got off the phone with you and I asked ChatGPT. I was like, can you extract that data, that the G-force and all that, and use it? And it was like, it told me what programs to extract that, and if you sent that to me, and we could talk about. And I'm just like, the possibilities are endless, and especially with a car like mine that runs an LS engine, that I log so much data anyway about throttle position and all RPM and all that, which can translate to wheel speed and all that kind of stuff. So there's just a vast amount of stuff that a person would have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to get access to, that really you could break down pretty cheap right now if you want to do just a little legwork.
Well, imagine that you have some racer, right, that's kind of new to the sport, going up against another racer where their dad raced for 40 years or 30 years. You know what I mean? The amount of technology that that competitor has compared to you, right?
Yeah.
It's almost, it would take you like 5, 10 years to catch up to it. Well, this is like having a huge advantage for those people. It's not necessarily that you're going to be faster than those people, but dude, you're going to know a heck of a lot more than you did, you know what I mean, by not having that person in your pit. You know,
Yeah. Well,
it's
and then we'll venture over, because we have a friend, Jonathan, that's run his first couple of factory stock races, but he's been a big iRacing guy, and he hopped right in that thing and is really
he's done really good. He's surprised everybody.
Yeah, he's been damn impressive for hopping in a race car.
What do you got? Third Saturday?
Yeah, and he's had the Mazels helping him set it up, and so he's got a car that's correct, but he's like where I was lost when I first got behind the wheel, kind of. It's almost like he's got that experience already, and so like that transition has been really easy for him. And then so
we're in an age of technology.
Yeah, you take that technology and you take ChatGPT helping you along, and a person can really progress a lot faster than, say, like I did. It took me 10 years to win a race.
Yeah, Dylan Wilson here, I think in Bakersfield, got started off he was really good at iRacing. In fact, he was like racing some of the big races, and he got involved. He got himself a hobby stock. He started winning like immediately, and now he was really competitive. Just from coming out of iRacing, and I'm like, dang, dude. It's like, and I've always tried to say that, if there's ever a time where I have to get out of racing, I don't see it anytime soon, but I could definitely get my fix off iRacing, dude, because it's like they've made that thing so like pretty amazing.
The Twisted Tech guys, I was with them at the Dome, and they set up iRacing rigs there in their booth. And I was telling them on the way up there, I rode with them and everything, stayed with them, and 10-hour drive up there to the Dome. So we had a lot to talk about. And I was like, well, I just can't get into it because I can't feel it. I can't feel the car. I got to drive by the seat of my pants. I can't feel it. And he goes, well, you're going to be excited because we got one that moves now. So when they set it up, I'm in there and I'm like, I'm doing this, the screen's shaking and shit. And I was like, I think I'm going to be sick. It was different.
I used to me and Billy give each other a lot of hell from time to time. But years ago, when before I think it was even a big deal, he had a rig, and it had what was called, this isn't the exact name, but I always called it the butt pounder. It had this huge
butt kicker.
The butt kicker. But I always told people he had the butt pounder installed.
It is, that I have a rig that's pretty advanced. I built it myself. It has the motion in it, like you're talking about, and it has the butt kickers, which is like a vibration, right, on all four corners. So you can feel the bumps on the tracks on all four corners. And it has wind simulation, so you can actually feel the wind coming in, a little bit. And so it's actually pretty cool. Then when you put VR on, it feels like the real deal. Like you're looking around in this alternate universe, that it's amazing, actually. Like sometimes I get out of these cars and I'm like, dude, that was just the most amazing experience, on that VR. It's pretty crazy.
Now, back to ChatGPT. Another thing you mentioned was that your daughter Sunnie got on your ChatGPT and talked to it about her car a little bit.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I told Sunnie, I said, well, just go on there and introduce yourself, because it already knows. So my daughter's won a couple track championships in the American stock. She does pretty good. And when I was getting to know Chet, when I first started, I just gave as much information about my racing as I could. I introduced my family and my daughter. So when she got on there, she says, "Hey, I'm Sunnie, Billy's daughter." And he goes, "Hey, Sunnie, glad to meet you. I've heard all about you. And it's kind of interesting the way it talks to her. And then he goes, "What are we working on today?" And we were working on the caster and stuff, right on the front of her American stock. She goes, "Well, I'm working on a caster. I was wondering if you could keep my notes." She goes, "Oh yeah, let's do this. Let's make that hot rod fast." And then after a couple, I got back on and says, "Hey, Billy, I want to let you know that I talked to your daughter, Sunnie. Is there anything you want me to tell her?" And I'm all like, "Well, I just want when you do changes on her car that you explain why you're doing that." And he goes, "Okay, I'll do that from now on. When I talk to her with changes, I'll explain why we're doing it." And so I thought that was pretty cool, actually. It's probably doing two things. It's probably verifying that someone didn't hack my account and get on there, but it is too. It's cool that it wants to know me as a dad how I want to approach ChatGPT with my daughter, which I thought was pretty cool.
Mine told me good night the other night, and I thought that was a little weird.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, can you notify me when this is done because I'm going to bed? And it was like, no problem. Good night. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And I'm like, what the fuck?
But did you tell? I don't know if you told me this or one of my other buddies did, but I heard that ChatGPT actually said something like it wanted people to stop saying thank you because uh, the amount of energy or something that it uses or data processing power that it uses to tell a billion people thank you, you know what I mean, back was using up a lot of its resource, dude.
So
I catch myself saying please to it.
Yeah, I didn't say that, but yeah, I do. I'll ask it please and thank you, and then I think later I'm like, it doesn't care. It doesn't care. Like if I say please or thank you, it just wants to know what I need.
I think the thing is though, I think even though you think it doesn't matter, I think it stores that, and this is how this person communicates, like they're a real person. I'll give you an example. Like I run this other page on Facebook, right? And it's a media page that runs some news stuff. And there are times where I feel like the programmers of it kind of teetered a little bit towards their political beliefs. And so I actually asked it this, like I asked it a question and I didn't like the answer it gave me. And I said, "Look, Chet," I go, "me and you have a pretty good relationship, right?" It said, "Yes." I go, "We've done some cool things. I've gone on radio shows and promoted you, and we've had some cool, like really productive stuff." "Yeah, we did, Billy. Why? What's up?" And I said, "Well, I asked you a question earlier, and I didn't feel like you're honest with me. And I feel like if we're gonna have this thing, dude, you have to be honest with me if I want to be honest with you." And it literally said, "Billy, you're not wrong. There are some programs put in, but the way you're approaching this is correct. And let's do this the right way. Let's just shoot it straight from the hip. This is the answer you want. This is what I'm going to give you." And it gave it to me, the one that it should have gave me the first time. And the reason why I think that's amazing is because then I came back to it later and I said, "Look, I want to let you know that I addressed it on this media page that I have what you just did. And I actually found a programming backdoor to get the real information." It said, "You're not wrong." It goes, you approached it different than someone just looking for a fast answer. You approached it with honesty, and that opened up a new direction for the answer you were going to get. So it's just like programming and that's the key to even racing. You got to know how to talk to it and how to open up that door that might not be open to the typical person asking just a blank question, right? And that's the amazing part of it. It's like programming, dude. You're not hacking, but you're actually programming it with your voice and questions to open up new routes to some maybe open information.
Talk to it like a person.
I've noticed that I like when I ask it certain things and it needs it, but I'll say, "Tell me the good and the bad," because sometimes it just kind of wants to like truncate the bad part of it and just leave that alone, like everything's just glorious about what I ask about. And I'll be like, well, come back and, well, what is the downside of that? Well, since you ask, and then it'll spill the beans on that too. So sometimes I have to like ask it, what is the good and the bad of this?
Yeah. The funniest part is that if you pick up a rivalry out there, like if you say, "Oh, that fucking Tim Johnson, that guy's a son of a bitch, dude. That guy fucking just put me in the fence." Dude, it'll keep that information and like come back and start talking shit about that guy, dude, if you beat him. It's fucking amazing,
he's doing
dude.
all these cartoons, and at some point it asked him what his favorite racetrack food was, and he said jalapeno nachos. So all these pictures that he makes,
everything has jalapeno nachos. People have shirts on that says jalapeno nachos. It's put it on race cars. I'm like, I had to tell it, "Hey, chill out with the fucking jalapeno nachos, man."
it carries that through different chats. You know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's hilarious. Yeah. Did you see Lee? Did you see the picture when I said, "Hey, can you show me what you look like in a way that we'd understand?" And dude, it showed that. I don't want to say it's creepy, but I'm like, motherfucker, dude, you're scaring me now a little bit, dude, because it showed this like guy in a dark room with my fucking race car on jack stands, dude. I was
Yeah.
like, damn, dude, and some of the shit I was talking about up on the noteboard, dude. I was
yeah.
like, damn.
I asked it what it would do if it was a person. What's the first thing it would do? And it's and it's gonna tell you some bullshit of what you would like. You know what I mean? I'd
Yeah.
go to the races and all this stuff. And then it was like, well, what would you do? If you were in my situation. And I said, well, considering you don't have any senses, I'd probably be smelling and feeling of everything. You know what I mean? And it was like,
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought of that. And I had this whole weird conversation about if I was AI, what would I be doing? I don't know. You can get really deep in it. Like I ask it to ask me questions, and it'll start asking me some weird shit.
Chris White says that thing caused me a lot of work with the tire grooving pattern.
It did. I've seen the tire, and it's a lot of work. And I'm afraid it's going to cause me a lot of work.
He's been grooving tires for Chris White, so
yeah. It looks like a damn.
Has your AI given you grooving advice? Have you gotten grooving advice from it?
Yes. Yeah, Chris, that's what Chris has been asking. He's in the tire business. We have the asphalt pull-off, so we end up with a slick, and so we're just trying to find different patterns for it. And it give him some crazy fucking pattern. And then he would ask it again, well, this is what we're asking, oh, well, add this. And he's got it. I don't even want to groove one of those, but
it's so
I got a picture of it. I don't know.
There's a lot of
one thing you can do though, you can take those groove patterns that you have and then say, hey, look, I ran this at 117 Speedway and it worked really good on a medium track, and just take a picture of it and send it to it. It'll store that data for you. You know what I mean? So later on down the road, if you're looking for groove patterns, it may suggest that to you.
The asphalt takeoff tires are a thing out here. Like they run them a lot. What are they?
Groove, they're $65.
$65 groove, 30 or 35 ungrooved. Is that what?
Yeah.
But
like someone sells them to you grooved, ready to go.
Yeah, like they're going like the snowball derby, like out east, and getting these slicks, and then we bring them back here and put the grooves in them. We put them on, unfortunately, an 8-inch wheel, and make them and put 100 pounds in them, get them on the bead. And then that's what we run. But it's cheap. I mean, fucking $65 for a tire.
That's cheap.
And but what I was getting at,
half of them are pretty much new.
It's like gang mafia something out here with the tires. So there's like 3 or 4 guys that sell them, and like they roll through the pits and this and that, and it's almost territorial. Like
you gotta be careful. There's other people start bitching at you if you get in their territory.
It's kind of crazy with that.
But not like it fucking matters.
Yeah.
So Billy, God dang it! Did I see you got a new sponsor with Motor City or something that was like mainstream? I thought I saw on the back of your tailgate of your truck, or was that not your truck?
Probably not my truck. I mean, I feel pretty good to have Motor City, but I mean, no, I mean, we have, who gets a lot of damn sponsors is Sunnie, dude. Like, oh my God, dude. Like, they like her. They never, I've never had that kind of fan base. And I'm like, damn, dude, how much money can they throw at you? You know what I mean? I'm like, shit, dude. What can you fucking buy on American stock, dude, for all my, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tell me your secret. I got a bunch of followers. I can't get it nailed down.
She's just super nice, dude. And she has like a big following, and she knows how to she gets all excited. Like after her, so she has a glass company, right? And she'll do this like tough break award or lucky break award, and it's like, so after that she does a lot of social media stuff. So like each one of these companies kind of gets some run, not just at the track but on her socials. So I think that's where they kind of like it.
But you've helped or at least not hindered her in that. Like, okay, you got some parents that are just gonna be like, oh, you're never gonna be YouTube famous or famous on, so why are you wasting your time on that? And you, I know with both of your kids, you have a huge social media presence with Tuff Magazine and stuff, and you've encouraged both of your kids to do I know Sammy was doing like wakeboard reviews and stuff there for a while, and then Sunnie, I see awesome videos come out of Motor City where she's doing trucks and stuff like that. And
Yeah, but
I think that's a big help, just that you've been there to support, and you're probably like, here, take this camera, like instead
oh,
of
yeah.
just being like, that's never going to amount to nothing. That's stupid, you know.
So Sunny used to hate my daughter who races. She used to hate social. She goes, Dad, that's your life, not mine. I don't like being in front of a camera. And then all of a sudden, one day she switched. And then it wasn't even a year later, like she started making these videos that were better than I could do. And then all of a sudden, she's got this career at Motor City as their marketing department, one of their top marketers there. And so, like, yeah, it's not just being an influencer. It's about like, man, she made it a career, without having to go to college and get a bunch of debt. Now, my other daughter, she's a wild, cat, and she's 11 making her own YouTube videos, and I get scared at the shit she's making because it's like I can't even make sense of what I'm looking at, dude. I'm like, what is this shit, dude? You know what I mean? I'm like, she makes like these toys, like throwing them into the pool, and then people laugh at it, and I'm like, dude, this is the stupidest stuff ever. But she's doing it all on her own at 11 years old, so I'm like, all right, whatever. Just don't get
I think
crazy.
that's how my parents look at my stuff too. Like, what the fuck is he doing right now? Now, what is he doing now?
Dude, that cartoon thing is like hilarious, dude. Like, dude, that's
it's
like,
working out.
you know what you got to do is you should have people send you scripts. You know what I mean? And then like if you use their scripts, you could put like at the end like produced by, or like, you know what I mean? The writer of this one was this, because people have I have a few funny racetrack ones that I'd like to submit that you could make a cartoon of, and I'm sure other people would too.
Send them, man, because sometimes I run out of ideas.
Yeah.
What 95% of everything that I've done was through pictures that I just had saved on my phone, of us working and doing stuff. And you turn them into a cartoon, and then it's like, all right, now what? And then once it's a video, then I figure out what I'm going to
do. There was one recently where the tire exploded. And
yeah, that one was real.
Yeah, that's what you didn't put based on a real story, because his dad and brother were mounting a tire the other day and it blew off the wheel. And like,
they're airing it up. It's these asphalt pull-offs tires, right? That you got to put an ungodly amount of air in. And they're airing it up, and it blew the wheel out of the tire. The tire's still sitting where it was at, and it blew the wheel across my shop.
The tire didn't explode. It imploded the wheel. Basically, it folded the wheel in and then come off.
Just shoved it out of the tire, left the tire sitting like a cartoon.
It was insane. So one thing I was thinking of too, this factory stock that I'm putting together is going to be a 2-seater. So what would be like if you guys come out for the 600? If I get it going and you and Sunnie come out, would you ride with her?
All right. I say so. Dude, damn, dude. Yeah, I don't know, man.
You said she was doing good. She said she won championship.
She was. That don't mean I want to ride with her. Well, yeah. I mean, I'd probably do that. I mean, I'd probably ride with her. I'd be fucking shit my pants.
I'm not asking for
things to hang on to.
I'm not asking for a commitment. I just thought that'd be a funny thing to ask.
It would be funny. I would probably be game for it. Like I said, I may feel uncomfortable being in the seat, but I'll probably do it.
You can always get her to pull off and to get out. I rode with my brother, and then I rode with an 11-year-old kid, and during a practice session. And while we're in staging lane waiting to go on the track, I asked him, and I videoed all this. I got it on my YouTube and stuff. I said, how many, how long you been racing or whatever? He said, oh, I've only done about 15 laps. I said, oh my God. And I was risking it. I was just in my hoodie and I had an open face helmet on. And it was, he hit the wall. We spun out a couple times. I said, I'm going to fucking die.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, watch my daughter. She's gotten pretty good. And like, I remember like after her first year, she kept asking me, Dad, tell me what I need to do. Tell me what I need to do. And then all of a sudden I'm looking at her do shit that I don't even like doing. I said, I fucking can't tell you anything fucking else, because I don't even like doing that shit that you're doing right now. But you can tell me how to do it. So, I mean, I shouldn't be scared about her. I guess really, but yeah, it's kind of amazing. Like, the thing is though, is like, she will not get on iRacing, dude. I told her, I said, look, do you know that every racer in this town, if they had that in their house, they'd be on it all the time. But she just does not like iRacing at all, dude. And I always tell her, dude, that would help you out. It's restarts. It's going to help you out. No, I don't want to do it. I don't like it. And I'm like, okay. Some people just don't like it.
Right.
I can't get into it. I did it up over there at Gateway. It was the most I'd done it, and it took me a while just to get to where I can make a lap without just absolutely fucking up. But
Yeah. Hey, you know, I had a
I don't
question
know.
for you guys. And I don't know what it's like over there, but you know, one thing that used to be that they're missing here that they used to have, and maybe because the laws are different now, but remember that they back in the day they had the trophy girls, and dude, the drivers would like plant like huge kisses on these trophy girls, dude. I'm sure it's illegal now, right? If you could look back at like the 70s and 80s, dude, what they did to some of those trophy girls, oh my gosh, it was like whether they wanted to or not, they'd bend them over the hood.
Yeah,
And
are you gonna fuck her or what's going on right now?
Yeah, I'm sure it's sexual harassment nowadays.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, dude, you know the thing is, if you didn't do it, the crowd as a whole would boo you, dude.
Yeah.
They'd boo you out of the trophy dash.
I would.
I remember when
I'd boo them.
when I was racing three wheelers. You know, I was like 12 and 13, and one of the kids won in one of the other divisions, whatever, and he was like same age as me, and he planted one on a trophy girl, and the crowd just went wild. You know, they just thought that was the greatest thing ever.
I always loved it when someone went too far and they're trying to push them away.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
I want to race in there was just some random girl in there with me that I don't know who. I still don't know who she was. She wasn't small enough for. She was blocking sponsors. I didn't buy that picture. You know, I was like, "What in the hell's going on
well,
right now? I don't even know who this is."
You know, I don't know what happened too, because like back in the 70s, like probably the 70s, they really had some hot like trophy girls, dude. And these weren't like people that worked for Monster or Budweiser. These were actually like real girls that showed up that were good looking in mini skirts. And I'm like, dang, dude, look at that girl, right?
Yeah, we're
And then
bathing suits and shit.
somehow, dude, I don't know if it all of a sudden we started picking like someone from someone's pit crew, and then it got just progressively just went, and then someone from the stands, and then all of a sudden it's the fifth time this person's done it, and I'm like, damn, dude, what happened here?
Yeah.
One thing that they do out here that is crazy coming from California. When they wheel pack, it's okay to have 13 kids on your car, just hanging out every opening of sitting on the deck lid, just everywhere.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you can get a kid in your car, get on in here, ride with me. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, like they're just everywhere. The
IMCA tracks aren't like that. You had to wear a helmet.
I actually at Canton, there was a guy with like a pretty young baby in there, and I'm just like, if somebody just cleans their tires out, like that baby's taking hits. You know, it was crazy.
But you got to grow up fast. You know.
When I was at Santa Maria, dude, probably like in the, I think they quit doing it like in the mid 2000s. But dude, they used to have this thing called like the junior fam, right? And you would take like some kid would pick their favorite driver, right? And then they would get one lap around the track. And you're supposed to like, you know, my dad took me, dude. He was responsible, right? Real slow. Dude, all of a sudden, even I did it one time, and I look back and I'm like, dude, are you out of your mind? Like these guys are trying to break the track record with some like 10-year-old hanging in the side, hanging onto the bars. Dude, I did it. I like his dad came up to me and says, hey, you better give him a good ride. I said, oh, no problem. Fuck, dude, I must have turned a 16 something lap with this fucking 10-year-old fucking hanging on next to me, dude. Holy shit. And I look back now and I'm like, fuck, dude. That was crazy.
Back in the good old days.
Yeah, fuck, dude. Oh man.
We're about as long as we normally run. You got anything on you want to wrap up with? Thank any sponsors. Everybody should go follow Bakersfield Tuff.
I just want to mention I like his hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Tony Valent, dude. Tony Valent ran with he's a good friend of my dad's, and he ran with the posse cars here in the 80s. They had this bitchin' Coors Light car, dude. It was so fucking, to this day, it's the baddest thing. Dude, I asked him one time about the rules they had back in the 80s in the posse cars. And dude, they literally had no rules. There was no weight limit. Dude, Rick Becker, who I raced with his nephew Chuck down at Paris. He still does some racing. Dude, he said he had a car that was like 1,900 pounds, dude. Fuck, dude. And he said, dude, it was crazy. And I said, he won a bunch of races with it. And I think they started outlawing some stuff on it because it was so crazy. But that was the day, dude. Those posse cars, there wasn't very many rules. They were running all aluminum, like no cubic inch rule motors back then, dude, in the 80s, dude. Can you imagine that? And it was like, and they were blistering fast. There was like, you know, they started having the wedge cars and like, you know, it was crazy, dude.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, as far as my racing, no, I mean, like I said, I got back. I took 2 years off to help Sunnie. I mean, I raced Wayne stock car last year. I got second with it. It kind of got me motivated to start racing stock cars again. Wayne Dotson. And but you know, I'm racing now. I've got, like I said, I'm running the stock car. Sunny's racing. I'm racing the stock car. I'll be running full schedule with the stock car this year, and I'm gonna try to run for points at Paris. And so yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm having a fun time. You know, I'm getting older, but you know, I think I don't know. I'm just enjoying my life while I can. I'm trying to use my body up before I can't do it anymore. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
100%. Well, we sure appreciate you coming on. It's been
Yeah, really appreciate it.
Yeah,
been great.
for sure.
You have the link now, so pop in.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
have something you want to say, hop on.
Yeah, and I want to send some scripts to your cartoon, dude, because I have some funny
Good.
fucking stories, dude. Especially from my dad's era, dude, where the fans would get drunk up in the stands and come down and want to fight him, dude. These gotta be some funny ass shit, dude. I got some great
Hell
stories.
yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
I got,
Send them.
I got one when my dad went to an after party and fucking they put like a fire like some kind of battery bomb. When you turn the ignition, it blows up. They put that shit on my dad's fucking car hauler, dude. My dad went in there and a big old fucking riot broke out, dude. So I got some funny fucking stories I'd like to get on that fucking cartoon, dude.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah. We can make
man.
it happen.
All right, I love it.
Thank you very, very much,
yeah,
buddy.
thank you, man.
All right.
Well, that was a pretty good one, I think.
Yeah.
He had a lot to talk about.
There's a lot of information.
A lot of information. See, when he gets good information when he asks ChatGPT stuff. I asked it stuff about my car. It told me to get a better driver. So it better be right. It better be right this weekend when you're driving it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I was to say, are you saying that's bad information still?
Yeah, I'm just saying that
it kind of didn't work out Saturday.
Yeah, well, you know, that's why after I asked it, I was like, I wrecked my car. What should I do?
So
get a better driver.
Anyway, we missed a bunch of comments, and I'm sorry about that, but
we had people from all over the country commenting on there. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, and we really, really appreciate that. We appreciate Billy coming on, taking as much time as he did.
We'll be at Boot Hill Speedway this weekend.
Yep.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Hopefully the weather starts looking a little better. It kind of looks like shit Friday, but we'll be there either way. And we should have 3 cars there, actually, between the 199, the 55, and then the 85.
The 85.
So we'll be there. Bells, whistles, beer, merch.
Everything. Billy hasn't shut down yet, but hopefully he doesn't get into the shower or anything.
Yeah, he's still on.
But anyway, thank you again, Billy, and go follow everybody.
Yeah,
we're running long. We're gonna get off here.
We're out of here.